So the today's topic that we have is graph coloring, and in coloring what we say here is that we are given some m number of colors and there are n number of nodes, and we want to provide colors to each of the node such that no two neighboring nodes have the same color. Fine. Let's say for this problem, the number of nodes that we have is 5 and m is equal to 3. So we denote these colors as 1, 2 and 3. So in this case, let's quickly see what it is doing and then move on to the application and the algorithm for this. So let's say the node A gets the first color. So that means if now we have to color the node B, we cannot color as 1. We can either give as 2 or 3. So let's say we have given the color as 2. Then we have to give the color to node C. Now node C is a neighboring node to A and B. That means it is connected to A and B. And in that case, we cannot color C as either 1 or 2 because then the condition that we have will not be fulfilling. So in that case, we have to color it as the third color. Okay. Similarly, for D, D is connected to only C, so it can have either 1 or 2. It can have any of the colors 1 or 2. E, because it is connected to A and B, which are having 1 and 2, as well as D, which can have 1 or 2. So in that case, E will have a color as 3. I hope the logic of graph coloring is clear, and we call this as M colorability decision. So when we call this as M colorability decision, in that case, what we are saying is that we have to decide on the number of colors that we have to give to the degree of the graph. So for this M colorability decision, what they say is if the degree of the graph is D, then it can be colored with D plus 1 number of colors. Yes. Now there is another thing that is called as M colorability optimization. So we want to optimize on this M colorability. Fine, where we want to color the graph with m number of colors and that m is the smallest integer. That means the optimization lies in that we are using the smallest number of colors to color this graph. Otherwise, we can use all the 5 colors and each of the node will have 5 different colors and the graph is done. Yes, we can color it with m equal to 5 number of colors. But what we want here is optimization where we are using the least number of colors. So m should be a smallest integer in that case, and m is also known as what this thing is a chromatic number. So m is nothing but called as a chromatic number. Now we have an optimization defined for the planar graphs. So what are planar graphs? Planar graphs are those graphs which are drawn in one plane such a way that no two edges should cross. So this is not a planar graph because we have edges crossing here. Yes. So what we want is we want to look at for those graphs which are planar where no two edges are crossing each other, and for such graphs, that is for the planar graphs, what was initially believed was that 5 number of colors are sufficient to color any of those graphs or map. Now, where the application of graph coloring lies? It lies into coloring of maps. So initially, when we have to differentiate between the different areas and we have to give the colors into that, so people used to feed in one color to the cartridge and feed in the sheet. So if you have to feed in, let's say for this one, if you have to color this one with the first color, second color, third, fourth and fifth. So this is like a map. And in this you have to use different colors to represent each of the region. So one or two regions can have the same color, but if you are using the same color, it will be mixed and termed as one. So we want to use different colors to distinguish between the boundaries. Now, if you are using 5 colors, so what you need it earlier was 5 different cartridges of the color from on which the paper have to be passed through. So to minimize on that, what they were looking for, that you have the least number of colors for the graph to be distinguished. Fine. So now let's see how we are saying that this map will be converted to a graph. So let's say this is the first region and the node is 1, second region and the node is 2, third region and the node is 3, similarly 4 and 5. So in here, 1 is connected to 3, one's boundary is connected to 4, one's boundary is connected to 2, but one is not connected to 5. Fine. 2 is connected to 1, 2 is connected to 3, 2 is connected to 4 and 2 is connected to 5. I hope that is clear. 3 is connected to 1, 3 is connected to 2 and 3 is also connected to 4. And so let me put this with a, so these are the edges that we are showing up here. Yes, so we have done till third. Now the fourth vertex is connected to the second region, third region, and because it is connected here, so it is connected to the first also, as well as it is connected to 5. Yes, so we can now put it separately. Let's say I want to put it like this: 3, 1, this is 2, this is 4, and this is 5. So 2 is connected to 5, 2 is connected to 4, 1 and 3. 3 is connected to 1 and 3 is connected to 4 and 5. And in that we have one more edge where 1 and 4 are also connected. Yes, so this is the graph where we do not have the edges crossing each other. I hope till this point it is clear. So for such planar graphs, what they say is that 4 number of colors are sufficient to color any map that we have. Yes, and for coloring this, what do we use is the adjacency matrix, which is given as G of 1 to n, comma 1 to n. Right? And the state space tree that we will have a degree of m and the height of n plus 1. So let me take a smaller tree to depict that. Let's say we have a very small tree with 4 vertices and a very small number of edges, minimum number of edges into that. Yes, and so n is equal to 4, m is equal to 3. Now, what we are saying here is that if we want to find a solution for that, so different solutions are possible. You can do the coloring of this graph in different ways. Yes. So the first node get the first color, then the second node gets the second color, third node can get third color, and this one can get second color. Or this one can also get the color 1. This one can get the color 3. Yes. So all those different permutations are there that are part of the solution of coloring this graph. And the state space tree will depict those solutions. Now, what we were saying was that the degree of the state space tree that we will construct will be m, and the height of that tree will go till n plus 1, because we will start with the first vertex where we will start with no coloring. Yes. And similarly, as we have done in the previous case, we will have an X array for which we will have the values from 1, 2, 3, 4, and the value into this array will hold, that means xi for the ith node will hold the color of that particular node. So if I am going to color the first node as the first color, so this will be 1. If I am going to color the second node with the third color, this will be 3, and so on. Yes, so this will hold the color that is given to each of the vertices, 1, 2, 3, 4 vertices. Okay, to start with, X will have all the 0 values. Then we are going to start with what vertex? The first vertex. So X of 1. It can have the value of 1, it can have the value of 2, and it can have the value of 3. Yes. So right now, because our state space tree in backtracking is using a depth first search, so we'll consider x1 equal to 1. And from there, what we need to now know is for the x2. So x2 can have what all values? It can have 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2, and 3. So when it has one value, we know it is not a feasible solution because it does not satisfy the criteria. It can have the value of 2 and 3. So if it has the value of 2, then we are working for x3. That is the third vertex. So this third vertex, can it have the value of 1? Yes. Can it have the value of 2? No. Can it have the value of 3? Yes. Fine. So again, starting from this side for the x4. So x4, if we are taking x3 as 1, can it have the value of 1? No. Can it have the value of 2? Yes. Can it have the value of 3? Yes. So this is our complete path for the two solutions. So the two solutions that we have got is where x1 is 1, x2 is 2, x3 is 1, and x4 can be 2 or 3. So these are the two solutions that we have got. Similarly, if we start from backtrack and go here, yes, so what all values of x4 we can have? 1, 2, and 3. So if x1 is 1, x2 is 2, and x3 is 3, it can have 1 or 2 values, but not the third value. Yes, so these are the two other solutions that we can get. Right? So the values are 1, 2, 3, and then 1, 1, 2, 3, and 2. So these are the solutions. So at every node, what we will have is 3 options. Yes. So here also we will branch into 1, 2, 3. Then again at every node we need to see. So if it is 1 and 3, so 3 is not possible. Only 1 and 2 will be possible. So from 1 and 2, then again we will have the 3 options, 1, 2, and 3. 2 is not possible. 1 and 3 will be possible. Again here we will have 3 options, and similarly. Yes, so from here again it will have 3 options. because it choose 2, so 2 will not be there. So these will be there. Then again 3, 3, and again so on. So at every point you will have 3 options. Fine. Now the degree of this tree, that means one node will be branched into how many child nodes. For a binary tree, the degree of the tree is 2 because we can have at most 2 nodes, 2 child nodes. Fine. So the degree of the tree, because we are always branching into 3, so that is equal to 3. And the height of the tree is whatever are the number of nodes that you have, 1, 2, 3, 4, and the initial state. So that's why you have n plus 1. Now to find out the solution for the graph coloring depends on the complete state space tree that you are generating. So it depends on how many number of nodes that you will get, internal nodes. Yes. So the number of internal or the complete set of nodes that you have here is, first at the very first layer you have one node, then you have 3 nodes, then you have 3 into 3 because each node is again divided into 3. So 3 into 3. At this layer, again it will be 3 into 3 into 3. I hope this is clear. At this layer, you have only 3 nodes. And at the next layer, whether we are considering or not, but those are there. Yes. So 3 into 3. Plus, at the next level, it will be 3 into 3 into 3 into 3. However, we will be bounding some of the nodes and pruning those nodes, and we will not be moving further down those particular nodes. Yes. So this is the maximum number of internal nodes that you will have. So this you can write it as 3 raised to power 0 plus 3 raised to power 1 plus 3 raised to power 2 plus 3 raised to power 3 plus 3 raised to power 4. Yes. So this is equal to summation of 3 raised to power I, where I goes from 0 to 4. And we can have the journal formula. Now these are the 4 number of nodes and 3 is the number of colors. So in this case, the journal formula that comes here is m raised to power I, where I goes from 0 to n. I hope this is clear. So this one is given as m raised to power n plus 1 minus 1 divided by m minus 1. So this is approximately equal to m raised to power n. Yes. So the running time of this algorithm is of the order of m raised to power n, and the total running time, when we are saying, it also depends on what is the total time that you will be spending at each of the node to find the legal coloring, because you are using a criteria here also. Yes. So that is m into n. So this one into m into n. So this will be approximately equal to n into m raised to power n. So that is the running time. Yes. So this is the running time, whereas m raised to power n was your total number of internal nodes that gets created. So now let's quickly see what this algorithm is doing. Now this algorithm is quite similar to what we have already seen for the case of Hamiltonian cycle. Yes. So quickly working with this one also, that we start with the k value. So your solution lies into this X array. So we start by putting the first color to the first node. So we assign the color 1 to the first node. So that's why we are going to call for M coloring with the k value as 2. Fine. So this part of the program is the same, that next value k, this particular function is trying to assign the color or the value to the second index. Fine. Now, if it is not able to assign any value, so these all values we already told these will be 0 initially. So if nothing is assigned, then it returns. If it has assigned some value, so in our case it will be either 1, 2 or 3, then k is equal to, it's check for if k is equal to n, that means it is the last vertex to which we are assigning the color, then we write the solution, else we'll move on to the next. So once we have assigned to this, we'll move on to the next, then we'll move on to the next, and if we have assigned to this, we'll write this, and this will again call the next value for k. That means can we assign some another value for k here or not? Yes, we'll come back to this later. Now looking at what this next value function is doing. So what it does here is this xk value, it tries to put in this particular iterative loop that repeat until false. What it is doing is it is trying to assign the values from 1 to n or 0 to n to this particular x values. Yes, at the x ith index, kth index, it is trying to assign this m values. Now, for this one, k value is equal to 2. So xk value was 0 earlier. Now it is changing to 0 plus 1 mod n, that is 1 value. So this is false. Now what it is doing is j value that goes from 1 to n, that means for the 4 nodes. Yes, it is trying to find out whether there is a path from this kth node to the jth node. So whether there is a path from 2 to 1, 2 to 2, 2 to 3, 2 to 4. Yes, if it is not equal to 0, then only it is going to work. If it is equal to 0, then it is not going to move into this if condition. Yes, it will be false. So for 2 to 2, it is 0. 2 to 4 also it is 0. 2 to 2 it is 0. 2 to 4 also it is 0. So if this is the case, the other condition is that xk and xj, if they are same, that means the color at the kth node and the jth node, if it is same. So k value is 2, j value is 1. Yes, so what we have assigned here is 1 value. So if we have assigned here as a 1 value, so these two values are same. So in that case, what it is going to do is it is going to break. It is going to break the for loop, and because j has not reached n plus 1, so at the very first place itself, for our case, it will break and it will move further. So what it is going to do is there is no true or false condition that we have. Yes, so it is going to repeat recursively. So this one, again what it tries to do is xk value is equal to xk plus 2. So xk earlier value we have given as 1. Now what it will become? It will become 2. Yes. So earlier value was 1. So 1 plus 1, 2 mod of m plus 1, it will be 2. So we are assigning here not 1 but 2 value. So when it is going to check for again j value 1, 2, 3, 4, what is at the kth index? That is second index at the first index. The two values are not the same. So if both the two values are not the same, what it is going to do is it is going to go into this for loop because it will not break. Yes. So if this value is equal to 0, then this condition becomes false. It is also going to move further. Yes. So j value will become, so this one, it is false. So it will not break. For 2, 2 to 2, it is equal to 0, and xk and xj value, is it same? Because k and j are same, so this is also same. So if either of the condition is not true, it will not work because there is an and condition here. Yes. So in this case, what will happen? If we have xkj not equal to 0, but it is equal to 0. Yes, so this condition is false. So it is moving further. When j value is equal to 3, 2 to 3, there is a path. It's not equal to 0, true. Xk and Xj. Now Xk value is, K is the index 2, J is the index 3. Both are not same. So it is true. So it is going to break here. Now the value that we have assigned will come back to either 2 or 3. Yes, I hope this is clear. So if we are taking K value equal to 4, Xk value is 0. So it will become 1 when this particular statement is executed. So it moves again into this J loop. Yes. So at the first place, it will not get the value. Yes. So what will happen is, it is going to take the next value. So K value equal to 4. So it is going to look for 4 to 2. Yes. Whether it is a true value or not. Yes. So in this case, if it is going to break here, because it has assigned 1, so it is going to break here itself. Yes. So once it breaks, so it value will change from 1 to 2, and after that 2 value, it will come into this for loop again, 1 2 3 4. So when it is 1, it will be a true case. Yes. And it will keep on moving into this for loop because all the conditions will be false. It will not be going into this loop. Now it will say that if j is equal to n plus 1, then it will return, because when all the conditions are true, yes, j is equal to 1, it is true. J is equal to 2, it is true. J is equal to 3, it is true. J equal to 4, it is true. So at the end, j will be made equal to 5, and it will exit the for loop. So in that case, j value will be equal to n plus 1. So it will return back here. So once it returns, it asks for what is the xk value. So right now it is 2. So if k is equal to n, yes, k was equal to n, so it is going to write the solution, which is 1 2 1 2. And after that, it is not going to call the else condition, but it is going to iterate into this loop again. And what it is going to do is next value of k. Now here, xk value that we had given was already 2. So 2 plus 1, 3, mod 4 will be 3. So it is going to assign the value of 3. And again, check the value for j 1, 2, 3, 4. And for this, again, the conditions will be true. Yes, so for all the conditions are true, j value will be assigned the value as 5 in the end, and it will come back here and go back here and write the next solution, which is 1 2 1 3. I hope this is clear how it backtracks. So whenever it has to backtrack, it has come to the last node and it tries to assign the next value. So right now what will happen is, in the next iteration, it will give the value of xk as 3 plus 1, 4. 4 mod 4, because m value is 3, number of colors. So 4 mod 4 is 0. So xk equal to 0, xk equal to 0, and it returns. Return back from the 4th position to the 3rd position, because we are always giving a recursive call. So it returns back here. It have already, the value is 1. So the next value will be 1 plus 1, that will be 2. So it is going to check for the tree. Yes. So when the x1 value is equal to 1 and x2 value equal to 2, and we are here, x3 value is equal to either 1. So in this case, we had these two conditions, that it can have 2 and 3 value. It cannot have 1, but 2 and 3. So again, it goes back here. So x3 node can have which all value? Can it have 2 value? No. Then can it have 3 value? Yes. Yes. So it will be recursively going on here. So once this solution is done, when this is done, then it returns back here. So every time when it gets a 0, it returns back to where it has been called. So from here, once it has generated all the other possible solution, so then it comes back here. So that is how your graph coloring works.